how are you trying to give back to the community by volunteering or by some other ways, and how that has impacted you in your personal life as well as your professional life?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, coming into the Salesforce ecosystem was challenging. A lot of the programs that I mentioned, even Trailhead Military, didn't exist in its current form a few years ago when I was getting into it, and so it's an extremely stressful situation. I mean, think about the Salesforce ecosystem and all the different paths that you can do. How do you decide on what you want to do when you've never done it before? Um, and within those paths, I mean, consultant. Okay, I want to be a consultant. Okay, well, what kind of consultant do you want to be? What type of firm? What do you want to be, a niche consultant, or do you want to be, core? Like, there's so many choices. And so going through that painful process, a lot of folks reached out to me and helped me. And both military and non-military, both at Salesforce and in the Trailblazer community. And so that was really the community is the reason why I decided to get into it, and that's the reason why I decided to get back. And so I decided early on that when I had enough information, enough knowledge, I felt like I could offer some value, I would start giving back. And so I started doing that fairly early, and it was one-off conversations. And so, I was doing my personal branding. Someone would see my LinkedIn post and they'd say, "Hey, I'm interested in Salesforce. Do you have time for a 15-minute conversation about what this Trailhead thing is?" And so I say, "Sure." And I'd have phone conversations. I'd do emails. I'd have LinkedIn, messaging. And after about a year of that, I was like, "Gosh, this is great, but I really want to focus my efforts and be able to reach more people in a more structured way." Because as I mentioned, I'm a process-oriented person. And that's when I found the Veterati platform, which I mentioned. So I signed up, and I began engaging in 1-hour focused conversations with service members, veterans, and spouses,
And this
helping
time you
them
were the mentor,
understand.
not the mentee.
Right. Yeah. This time I was the mentor, and I was helping them understand how to navigate the ecosystem. And so over the course of that year, I spent probably a couple hundred hours, and had 75 or so interactions, some multiple times with the same person, just to help them continue to learn and grow. And so at that point, I was like, this is phenomenal. But I was also kind of burning myself out. A lot of time, a lot of effort, and this is all on top of
The job that you
you know
had.
working, yeah, working 50 hours a week, and managing other aspects, the personal life. And so I needed a way to scale that even better and be able to reach more people with less time. And so about 6 months ago, I decided that I was going to try a different platform. And instead of doing these one-to-one focus sessions, I was going to do one session a week where I would invite as many people as wanted to attend, to come talk about, the Salesforce ecosystem, and to try to help do a collaborative mentorship engagement. And so I've been doing that now for 26 weeks. I'm getting ready to have my 27th session tomorrow. And what I do is once a week on Wednesdays for an hour, I will, open up a Google Meet, and folks will come anywhere from, these days, it's usually 30 to 50 people, and they'll show up, and I invite a co-host on. And the co-host is usually from the Salesforce ecosystem, but they don't have to be.
A veteran.
But they talk about different sales. Yeah, well, so they're not necessarily
Hmm.
military either. It's really, some of them are, but some of them are just allies that really want to help out the Trailhead military community. And so the way that I choose my co-hosts for that session is I look at what the skills and the paths that people are most interested in. So let's take John, our person. John really wants to be an admin. He has no idea how to get work experience. He's on Trailhead, he's in Trailhead military, but he doesn't know, anybody in the ecosystem. So he comes to my office hours, and I have set that up, with a co-host that is actually a Salesforce admin, and working in industry. And there's John, and there's 25 other people that then get to have this one-to-one engagement session with this admin, in what I call a collaborative mentoring format, and ask them questions. Questions that, and basically have an informational interview, questions that will help them navigate their future path. And so I've had folks on like David Liu, from Google, and from his own website, David Giller, the Salesforce Geek, I've had on veterans. I've had on Stephanie Herrera, who is the creator of Salesforce Saturday. A lot of phenomenal guests come on the show and just share their time and their expertise and their experience to be able to mentor. And I found that really is the platform that I have had the greatest results with, just because I can mentor so many folks
At the same time.
It takes less time. Yeah, and it's just I think folks get more out of it, because it's not just me mentoring one person and only being able to rely on my experience. I'm not that interesting where I could have,
No,
folks
you
come to my
definitely are.
sessions every single, so what's interesting though, what's most interesting is they have access not only to the other co-host who changes every week, but they have access to each other. So I'm building this community and they can all leverage each other for support and have these, these interactions back and forth to be able to really accelerate their learning. And that's really the key, I think.
And they're able to relate with each other more than they are able to relate with you, actually, because you are at a certain level which they might think that they'll not be able to achieve, but while you're working with someone who is at the same level as you are, the journey becomes easier, I guess.
Yeah, there's people they can relate to, exactly, because there's every ability level is represented there.
Got it. And like how this has impacted your personal life. I mean, oh yeah, I got the time. It's the time thing. Any other way it has impacted
Yeah.
you in your personal life?
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah. It's obviously, from a process perspective, it's much easier process, but no, it's definitely impacted me in other ways. And so, if you think about it, really the best way to learn is to teach. And I'm passionate about continuous education. And so every week I get the opportunity to, to teach and to benefit from my other co-host who's also there, who's also teaching. And in those focused teaching sessions where we're helping other folks, we are learning too. So the learning, is, I guess, for me as well, as accelerated because I have so many other people participating in that learning process. And it really, additionally, it has taught me about the power of the community. So as mentors, we have the ability to, I guess, to plant seeds for new communities by weaving this web of relationships and personal interactions, which results in creating these new opportunities for our mentees. And so, ultimately, my goal is to inspire my mentees to become mentors, and take that over. And so when this actually happens, when the folks that, I've been mentoring not only achieve their professional goals, but take on their own mentees, not only does it make it all worthwhile, but it reinforces the power of the community and the power of giving back to me. So, from a spiritual standpoint, it's very affirming.
It's a satisfying,
to know
actually.
that,
It's
yeah, absolutely. It is, because it all comes around and it's very karmic.
It is.
If you put good things out into the world, good things will come your way, and this is living proof of that. So I love it.
Got it.